What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into the highly requested topic of how I plan my week in Notion. I've gotten lots of requests for this and I am so excited to share. At the beginning of this year, I revamped my system in Notion to be a little bit more user-friendly. I'm pretty much of the mind like, if it's not automated, then I don't want it, you know what I mean? I've been using the getting things done method for a while now in Notion, which is pretty popular. I've seen a lot of different people do that. It's really easy to use in Notion, to be honest. But I found my biggest frustration to be that I was still having to choose what I needed to do each day, which was leading to a lot of decision fatigue for myself. For a while, I was using a Notion Google Calendar hybrid so that I could kind of like assign myself those tasks to do each day. And it worked super great, except that I did not want to be checking off my things to do in Google Calendar and in Notion because that just seemed like too much work for me. On a more personal note, I found out about a month ago after some mineral testing that I was severely depleted in a lot of my minerals, which is essentially caused by chronic stress to the body. I shared a little bit about this on my Instagram, but this has really made me realize that I need to change the way I do things this year in order to lead a more well-balanced lifestyle. So without further ado, grab something to sip on and let me show you my pride and joy. Okay, so here is my life hub. This is where everything lives in my Notion. As you can see, I have a little table with a preview of some of the tasks that I need to do. And then below I have my schedule, which I really just put large events that I need to remember on. I think Notion has a lot that they could do within their calendar feature. I wish it would do quite a few more things, but this is kind of just how I at least tell myself that I have an event today. Since we're focusing on weekly planning today, we're gonna spend most of the time within the weekly reset page and weekly planning and daily planning pages. I start each week in my weekly reset. The first thing I have on this page is my little this week's stats. I go ahead and pop that open and it shows me everything that I've put in within the past week. This is kind of like my little habit tracker, I guess you could call it. I don't necessarily only track habits on here, there's a lot more than that. This is kind of where I check in with myself and see how I'm doing each day. I like to include what drained me and what excited me or energized me, because if I look at that over a week, then I can see if there's any patterns, if something like repeatedly came up that was draining me or exciting me. And then I can try to either remove that thing if possible or to incorporate less of it and or add more if I am more excited by it. So each week I come in here and I basically just synthesize that information. You can see that I've got averages calculated out of the bottom and I just pop these into the weekly information table and then I go over that monthly. That seems like a lot of data information and moving around, but honestly, it's not that hard. It really only takes me about 5 minutes to do, and at the end of the month, I'm able to go through all of that information and take what's serving me and leave what's not, and I really love that about this. For now, I'm just gonna close that, and we're gonna move on to the things that I do each week to reset. Now, this is also kind of based on the Getting Things Done framework. You can see I have the Be Clear, Be Current, and Be Clean. I believe the original is Get Creative, the last one, but I chose to do Be Clean because there's a couple of like weekly cleaning tasks that I want to make sure that I do each week, so I've included those here. First things I always start with is the Be Clear. They're pretty easy to get through. I just clean out my downloads folder, my desktop, and then my emails, and then I move on to Be Current. And this is kind of where I update everything for the week within my Notion, and then I'm really just kind of done. Like I plan one time for the week and that's it. You can see I have meal planning, I update our finances every single week, I do some content brainstorming. Those are all pages that I'm not gonna get into today because if we did, we would be here for quite a while. If you're interested in seeing more about how I do those things within Notion, let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to make a completely separate video on each of those. As I'm working through the Be Clear and Be Current things, I sprinkle in a little Be Clean things here and there so that I can get up and move around and add a little bit of variety into what I'm doing instead of just doing all of the computer tasks at once and then all of the cleaning tasks at once. I'm skipping those today and I'm just gonna focus on my events calendar, my brain dumps, and my workout for the week. When I pick out my workout for the week, I just pop into my workout calendar. And this is kind of like a library of my YouTube workouts that I go through. But pretty much what I do to select my workouts for the week is I just pick whichever one I want. So I'm just gonna pick this one. And then I assign the date to it. When you go down to the bottom, you can see all of the workouts that you scheduled for the week there. So that's all I do to assign my workouts for the week. Next, I can just check that off and I'm gonna go to my Life Hub. And this is just the calendar that I showed you in the very front, and I go ahead and add my events for the week. All right, now let's get into the weekly planning. If you watched my last video, which was breaking down how I do my workflows within Notion, then you would have seen this page and know that this is where I do my brain dumping for the week. And I go through each of my brain dump prompts and ask myself these questions, see what I can think of, and then I write everything down that I think of. Here are a few examples. Once I get those written down, I just go ahead and dump them right into this brain dump area. Once I get all of those dumped into my table, then I go ahead and just hit the sort button like that, and they get sorted. And this is where the getting things done method comes in. This automatically sorts to things that are going to be due within the next week. I have that as top priorities. If I scroll down a little bit farther, I have pretty much everything that needs to happen someday. And I have it there like that because I really only wanted to focus on things that were going to be due within the next week, and then anything after that kind of just got put into that category. A lot of these already have due dates on them, but there are some, if you scroll down here, that don't have them, for example. And those ones, whenever I kind of have some extra time that I might not have some pressing things that I need to do right away, I go down there and I'll pull some of those that don't have dates on them and be like, oh, okay, I'll do this now. The last thing I do is I have some weekly recurring cleaning tasks, and I keep them just right here, and that's because with the new Notion update for the recurring tasks, you can't automatically put like recurring due dates on that. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really looked around a ton to try to figure out if there's a way around it or not, but it was just easy for me to go ahead and put the repeat cleaning tasks. I've got them set to be recurring, and they will populate right here in this little table every single week. So all I have to do is assign them a due date, like I do laundry every Friday, and then that gets sorted into my table as well. So that's literally all I do for my weekly planning. It is done for the entire week. I just make sure that when I put the due date in, when I'm dumping my tasks, I make sure it's the day that I want to actually do it, and then it's already assigned to me and it will show up on that day. Now I'm going to show you my daily planning page, which this I put in so much effort with, and you'll see why in just a second. All right, so here's my daily planning page. I love this page so much. This little guy right here in this corner, it took a lot of effort to do, I'm not going to lie. It probably has upwards of 30 plus properties involved with it to come up with all this information. And then I also have a ton of formulas that I wrote by hand that tell me all the holidays and wish me a happy birthday when it's my birthday. When I was creating it, I asked myself if I was being a little bit extra when I was making it, but I'm really glad I did it because this is probably one of my favorite things on this page. Each day it tells me the date, so it says today is Sunday, the 22nd of January, and then it tells me how many tasks I have to complete and then how many events I have for each day. I don't actually do anything with that block, it's just here to display information. I kind of consider it like my little personal assistant that tells me what's going on each day. And yeah, it's just really fun. If coding's not your thing, then I've got you. You can grab this template in my shop. It includes the weekly reset and weekly planning and daily planning pages that I've already showed you. Plus it has the master task list, a to-buy list, and it also includes my journaling templates, my workout calendar, and the monthly review where you can go in and synthesize all of the data that you put in your information table so you can see what went on this month, what you can do differently next month. The 2023 goal planning page is also included here, which you can still get for free in the description of this video, but this one is already linked to your task table, so everything that you put to do in each goal will automatically link itself to your tasks. All of this is already coded for you, and it comes with a video tutorial that shows you how to completely customize this page to be perfect just for you. The system has truly changed my life, and I am so excited to share it with you because I could not imagine my day without it. So I pop in here each day, I look at that, I kind of get an overview of what my day is going to look like, and then I can also see what my workout's going to be for today over here. I can also pop into my meal calendar and take a look at what the meals are going to be for today to see if there's any prep work that I need to do in the morning right away, or if there's anything that I might need to do tonight to help for tomorrow's meals. I also have a link to Wordle because I don't know if anybody still does that or not, but my family and I do. My mom and my husband and I have a little group text, and every morning we send our Wordles to each other. And I kept forgetting, so I put it right here and I do it every single day. And now you just saw my starting word, so there you go. Once I get finished with that, I will just scroll down, and this is where I have my morning log. Now I already did my morning one for today. You can see that I did my little journal entry for this morning too. I have templates for my morning and my evening journals, and then I also have one for a mental health check-in, I call it, and that's maybe just a little bit more of some deeper questions to kind of help me clear my mind more. I try to journal every single day, but I don't always get to it, and when I do, I go ahead and link it right here in this table so I know that I did it. And then I also track my bedtime and my wake time. That will tell me my overall time that I was sleeping for, whether or not I've been eating within 30 minutes, because that's something that I've been trying to do to keep my body's stress level low. And then how am I ask myself, and that's just on a scale of 1 to 10. And then when I am looking at what energized me or what drained me, I can kind of look at that number and also see if there was something else going on that day that maybe was contributing to what it drained me or what energized me. Once I finish my morning log, I come down and I can see my tasks for the day. This is everything that I dumped into that weekly planning page. It's just now shown here in high, medium, and low priority, and then I also have it sorted to high, medium, and low time commitments as well. But I absolutely love this table because it only shows me what I need to work on that day. It does show if you had anything that you maybe didn't do a couple days before. It will stay here until you do it. Other than that, like, it really keeps me focused on the task at hand rather than all of those things that I had written down that I wanted to do that week. Plus, I can conveniently just click it when I finish and hit done, and then it disappears and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Then towards the bottom, I have my evening log. So I just fill this out before I kind of shut down for the day. It doesn't have to be right before bed, but it is kind of just an end of the day recap. I have a place to include an evening journal if I choose to do an evening journal that day. I do what excited me, what drained me, whether or not I had my vitamins, and then I do a diet rating, which that is the same. I do a scale of 1 to 10. You absolutely don't have to do that at all. I'm just choosing to include it right now because I'm trying to make sure that I am getting more minerals in my diet. I do think I'm probably going to change this one though because it's kind of vague. I'm just rating it on a scale of 1 to 10, and I think I might change it to include some like very specific minerals that I'm focusing on and give some hard numbers so I can see if I'm falling within the ranges that I want to each day. And then lastly, I have the same little tab that I had at the top that tells me tomorrow's agenda, and that just gives me a quick look at what I can expect tomorrow to look like. I have 5 tasks that I have to do tomorrow, so it's going to be a little bit more than today, which I only had a couple, but that's okay because it's a Monday. So that's kind of what my daily workflow looks like each day. I just pop in here each morning and kind of see what's on the docket for the day. I don't have to do any thinking about what's going to happen. It's already right there for me. And it makes it super easy and way less stressful for me. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to try this setup. I think you're going to absolutely love it if you do. And give this video a thumbs up just so I know that you liked it and that it was helpful for you. I know that it has been really life-changing for me, and I'm sure it can be for you as well. Don't forget that if you want to grab this template already completely made, you can grab it in my shop. The link is in the description box below. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful and stress-free week. Happy planning!